What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dojo Setting. Today we are going to talk about simulator boulders, or boulders that are meant to mimic actual rock climbs. So before we dive in, make sure you like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and yeah, so simulator boulders. I'm going to start off by saying I'm not a huge fan. I generally think that more times than not, they don't work. They end up not being that much fun indoors. It's very hard to translate outdoor movement to indoors. There's so many different intricacies of real rock that are really hard to imitate inside, especially when the walls are flat. Volumes can kind of help change that angle a little bit, but for the most part, I don't think that they're that 9 times out of 10 they don't turn out that well. So I will say the exceptions are stuff that is relatively flat. Having a boulder with a lot of angle changes is really difficult, but if you have something that's kind of just like a nice straight angle, it makes it a little bit easier. It makes the climb a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, so that's kind of my view on simulators. What we have here behind me in red, we have a simulator boulder of a climb in Joe's Valley called Beyond Life. So the last time I was on Beyond Life was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. It's been a while. I'm doing it all sort of based off of memory, and I do have a video helping me out. So the idea behind a simulator boulder is that you are training yourself on the specific movements that a specific boulder is requiring you to do. So that's why you would do it. I personally think there are other ways to train, but to each their own. So with this simulator boulder, I tried to get it as somewhat close as I could. I'm really bad at crimpers, and the boulder essentially revolves around this crimper right here, which is really, really, really small, if I remember correctly, on the actual boulder. I'm bad at crimpers, and I am certainly not as strong as I was 4 or 5 years ago when I was climbing this thing. The actual boulder is V10. There's a sit start to it that is V11 or 12, however much, wherever you think it sits. I have not climbed on this simulator yet, but my guess is that it's probably in like the 7 or 8 realm. The reason I did that, again, A, I'm not climbing that hard anymore, especially on crimpers, and B, just for the simplicity of getting a video to work. So, and I will try to climb this thing, and we can also, honestly, we can compare it with the actual footage of me doing the boulder a few years ago. So we'll talk about that. So I don't really have footage of the stand start. I do have footage of the sit start. So you got to deal with that. Ultimately, where the two videos kind of sync up right here is where the climbs become the same climb. So you'll notice it's pretty close. It's not quite. There's a couple sequences that the distance is a little off. You'll notice, especially at the end, where I'm really stretched out on the actual rock climb, where I'm not super stretched out on the simulator. So, you can get these things as close as you want to, or you can try to get them as close as you can, but there's always going to be small differences. All right, so there is sort of one thing with the simulator boulder. It's actually kind of funny. I said that it was like V8 or so, V7 or 8 at the beginning of the video. It actually took me 2 days to do the simulator. It's still pretty hard. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's 10. I don't know if it's as hard as the actual climb. But it was certainly a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. it took some time to do it. So a couple things with simulator boulders that I kind of wanted to clarify. Looking back at what I had already filmed, I want to sort of specify things. Like I said, I generally don't like simulator boulders because it's really hard to create the outdoor movement and outdoor feel indoors. So I will say this though, as far as simulating boulders, there's other ways to train for it. For me, the crux of Beyond Life was that really small crimper and being able to move off of it. So instead of training that specific movement, I needed to get better at crimpers, so I'm going to train on crimpers. You know, there are climbs that it's like, okay, I need to get better at body tension to be able to do this climb. I'm not going to sit there and simulate that rock climb. I'm going to work on body tension. That's what the weakness is, and that weakness, or wherever I'm lacking, improving that is going to help my climbing overall, not necessarily just help me send that climb. So I would be remiss to say, and I kind of subconsciously hinted at it earlier in the video, there's a company out there, I'm sure there might be more than one, but there's one that I have experience with, that is actually 3D scanning holds on popular outdoor rock climbs and making them plastic and being able to use them to simulate movement. And they're actually really cool. I really like them. Mimic holds. Yeah, those things are cool. I ended up getting the Slasher set from Joe's Valley. That's one of my projects, long-term projects. It's really cool. They're really fun to kind of play on actual rock holds, but being inside. With that being said, again, generally speaking, I'm not a huge simulator fan. If there's a weakness that's preventing you from doing the boulder, figure out what that weakness is and work that. But again, mimic holds are really cool. So thank you guys for watching. We will have more videos coming out shortly. So we'll see you next time.